Do you hear it, Willow? The way the notes have to struggle to find the harmony. That's us. That's what we're doing. We're finding the harmony in the chaos.
Oh no. He's crazy. This is going to be harder than I thought.
That evening, after they shared yet another rehearsed meal, salmon poached in white wine, asparagus tips arranged in perfect symmetry, Eden led her down the grand parlor, a room dominated by a black Steinway grand piano that sat like a polished obsidian monolith in the center of a Persian rug. The ivory keys gleamed in the half-light, expectant and hungry. The room was lit only by the crackling fireplace and two tall silver candelabras, whose flames danced and cast elongated shadows across the walnut-paneled walls. Eden sat on the bench, the crimson tails of his silk robe pooling around him like spilled wine. He didn't ask her to join him. He gestured one long fingered hand to a burgundy velvet chaise lounge nearby, positioned at a precise 45-degree angle so he could see her perfectly while he played, her face illuminated by the golden glow of firelight.
My mother used to say that music was just surgery for the spirit.
He said, his long fingers hovering over the keys.
It finds the jagged edges and smooths them down.
He began to play, his fingers crashing down on the keys with a violence that startled her. It wasn't Debussy or Chopin, nothing soft or romantic, but Rachmaninoff, Prelude, in C-sharp minor, its opening notes like funeral bells. Each note thundered through the room like approaching storm clouds, the low bass notes vibrating the floorboards beneath her feet. Eden's shoulders hunched forward, then arched back with each crescendo, his head tilting at unnatural angles as though possessed by the music itself. His knuckles whitened, then flushed red as he attacked the keys, never fumbling, never hesitating, technical perfection carved from obsessive practice. Throughout it all, his eyes remained fixed on Willow, unblinking and glassy, as if the music were merely a vehicle to deliver some unspoken message directly into her soul, as if her reaction were another instrument he was determined to master. Willow sat on the chaise, her hands folded in her lap. To anyone else, it was a scene of high society romance. But as the minor chords echoed through the vaulted ceilings, Willow felt the weight of her reality. He was playing at her, using the music to weave a web of sound that felt just as restrictive as the iron bars on her windows. She watched his hands move, the same hands that had crushed the life out of Mark's future, now dancing over ivory keys with the grace of a god. As the piece reached its thundering crescendo, Eden suddenly stopped. The silence that followed was deafening, filled only by the crackle of the fire and his heavy breathing. He turned on the bench, his face flushed, his eyes wild with a dark, manic love.
Do you hear it, Willow?
He asked, his voice a low rasp.
The way the notes have to struggle to find the harmony. That's us. That's what we're doing. We're finding the harmony in the chaos.
Willow felt a cold sweat break out along her spine. He was deeper into his illusion than she realized. He didn't just want a wife or a nurse. He wanted a soulmate to join him in his beautiful, terrifying madness.
It was beautiful,
she managed to say, her voice barely a whisper. Eden stood up and walked toward her, the candlelight casting a shadow over her like a shroud. He knelt by the chaise, taking her face in both of his hands.
I'm going to give you everything, Willow. My knowledge, beauty, safety. All I ask is that you never, ever look toward the gates again.
He leaned in until the sunflower yellow fabric of her dress crumbled between them, a barrier dissolving like sugar in hot water. Those hooded eyes with their glacier blue irises ringed by a dark cobalt, the aristocratic slope of his nose, the precise symmetry of his clean-shaven jawline. His lips, flushed pink from the wine and slightly parted, hovered millimeters from hers, close enough that she could count his individual eyelashes. He waited with the stillness of a judge, demanding the consent she had been terrified to give. The closeness was suffocating, like being slowly buried alive. Willow could smell the wine mingling with the bitter green scent of asparagus tips on his breath, undercut by the sandalwood cologne that clung to his skin like a second personality, expensive, calculated, and impossible to wash away. As his lips hovered there, an invitation that was actually a demand, her entire body recoiled internally, a scream trapped behind her teeth. But she didn't pull away sharply. Instead, she let her eyes flutter shut and turned her head away just a fraction, so his lips brushed harmlessly against her cheek. She let out a long, shaky breath and pressed her hands against his chest, not to push him away, but to create a deliberate, soft barrier.
Eden,
she whispered, her voice trembling with a genuine fragility that she didn't have to fake.
please, don't. Not yet.
She felt his muscles stiffen under her palms. The air in the room seemed to sharpen, the silence turning jagged. For a heartbeat, she feared she had pushed him too far, that the assailant would override the nobleman.
I want this to be right.
Her eyes opening to meet his, pleading and wide.
You said you wanted harmony. If you take this now, while I'm still so fractured from everything that happened, it won't be real. It'll just be another thing that was taken from me.
She reached up, her fingers grazing the hairs at his temple.
You've given me so much tonight. The books, the music. Give me this one final thing. Give me the time to come to you because I want to, not because I have nowhere else to go. Don't you want the version of me that isn't afraid?
The logic was the perfect bait for his ego. Eden prided himself on being better than Mark, better than the beasts of the world. He wanted her devotion, not just her body. He stayed frozen for a long moment, his eyes searching hers for the lie. Willow kept her breathing shallow, her gaze unwavering, projecting nothing but a vulnerable, burgeoning trust. Slowly the tension bled out of his shoulders. He let out a breath and sat back on his heels, though he kept his hands on her waist.
You're right.
He murmured, his voice thick with a frustrated yet admiring reverence.
You are a creature of nuance, Willow. I shouldn't treat you like a common conquest. It's just seeing you here in the light of the fire. It's difficult to remember patience.
He stood up, pulling her to her feet with him. He didn't kiss her, but he pressed his forehead against hers once more, a heavy, proprietary gesture.
I will give you your time,
he promised, his voice dropping into a dark, vibrating register.
But remember, Willow, patience has a limit. I have given a paradise to you, but even God expected something in return for Eden.
It was the second time that day he had aligned himself with God. God had shaped the world once. Eden seemed to believe he was shaping it again, distilled down to a single life, hers. She kept her face soft, receptive, as if the words had comforted her. Inside, she filed them away with careful precision. Patience has a limit meant there would be a moment when waiting became failure, when failure turned into punishment. Time then was not something to spend freely, it was something to steal. And his Eden, paradise or prison, had always been designed to keep someone in. He led her back to the stairs, his grip on her hand firm.
Spend tomorrow in my mother's wing. Immerse yourself in the science. Perhaps when you see how perfectly the world can be ordered, you'll realize there is nothing to fear in my arms.
Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, tell me if you're Team Willow or Team Eden in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe for more of A Willow in Eden.